Is passing, oh, let's see here. Which street is that? Iowa Highway 78 there between Olds and Winfield. That is the area of rotation. You can kind of see it. It's pretty vague, but this is the type of atmosphere that would be able to produce a quick spin-up tornado, even with a pretty weak area of rotation. It's not going to be very evident like we might see on other days with a better and more conducive atmosphere, but it's this area right here where we can see the potential for tornadic development with this storm. I want to check with the National Weather Service. Looks like they haven't said anything new about this storm in terms of it producing a tornado or having spotters catch it, but it's that area there, and I'll put a storm track on it to take it to the north as it moves almost due north at about 30 miles per hour. Again, Wyman at 6:57, Cotter at 7:11, and Haskins at 7:16. So that takes it just to the edge of this tornado warning box on the northern end there, about central Washington County. It does cross past Highway 92 before it exits this warning box. And of course, we'll have to see where the storm is then in terms of intensity or in terms of any sort of reports before then. So yeah, it's a very specific kind of situation that develops this afternoon. Let's turn on the satellite and show you exactly what I'm talking about here. It's going to take a second for it to pop in. But it's this area just north of these storms where we saw just enough clearing, stretching from about north of Burlington all the way up to about Highway 30 and an atmosphere here in a very narrow range. It's not a wide area, and with the sun in the process of setting right now, we'll likely lose a lot of the energy for that, but enough energy is out there that we are seeing just a little bit of rotation, and that's why this warning is in effect. In fact, the overall total of energy, if we put on the energy available for storms here, is pretty low. When we have very strong severe weather days, you'll see the bright yellows and whites on this view. Now, of course, it doesn't take much, but in terms of the tornado potential, it's overall fairly low. This color scale also goes into oranges and pinks. That's the kind of level where we'd be very concerned about a strong threat of a large tornado. That just isn't present today. This is the type of atmosphere that is conducive for producing tornadoes that only last a few minutes. But of course, we need to take each warning seriously, as even a short-lived tornado, if you happen to be in the path of it, it's not going to be a great time. Even if it's fairly weak, it can still do a little bit of damage. It's this area that's just about to cross over from Henry County into Washington and Louisa counties. It looks like it's about to kind of ride right along the Washington-Louisa County line. So again, if you're in the city of Washington, you're in pretty good shape. You're not included in this warning, and this storm should pass safely to your east. It's the rural areas of southeast Washington County and far southwest Louisa County that will be most concerned with in terms of this storm having the potential to do some damage if it produces a tornado. The latest from the National Weather Service does not indicate that it has, but the potential is there. And that's why we're staying with you here on TV9 until this warning is either reduced and canceled or until it expires. And of course, we'll go until we get till 7:15, which is the extent of this warning at this time. The National Weather Service did trim back the warning for the other portion of Louisa County that's south of Highway 92 toward the Wapello area. That is still also a radar indicated storm. So both of these storms, even though they do show a little bit of rotation, no spotter reports just yet, even though it's kind of in a wavy line pattern here. So if we pull back just a little bit, zoom out and see this little line of storms. I'll turn on the lightning layer too to see if we even have some lightning with these. Couple of small bolts of lightning, and that's about it. So it's very shallow activity, not producing a lot in the way of large hail. There could be some gusty winds with this, but even then the radar signature on that is not looking incredibly productive for strong, widespread gusty winds. But that is another sort of thing you get concerned about when a storm is lined up like this. But it's just that little curly Q at the end that's been riding just east of Highway 218 in Henry County. This portion right here, that's the portion of the storm that could be spinning just enough to produce a tornado. And that's why the National Weather Service has a tornado warning in effect. So if you're, again, in Crawfordsville, Ainsworth, Columbus Junction, this is the type of area that needs to be getting to your safe place. And the rotation is still very broad, not very strong at this point, which is, of course, great news. That's exactly the type of thing we want to see when we want to keep people safe in the areas in southeastern Washington and western Louisa counties. But if you live within that red box that we've been talking about, again, just to repeat, you got to get to your safe place immediately, because this rotation actually is within the heavy rainfall of the storm. So if you think you can step outside and see even a weak tornado coming in this type of weather, you would not have a great shot at it, because there is plenty of rainfall taking place. So get to the lowest level of your home, the most interior room, stay away from windows, cover yourself with blankets or pillows. If you have a TV, obviously keep us here on TV 9. If you can't, just turn up the TV a little bit in the other room. We'll keep you safe and describe where things are headed and when the warning is canceled or allowed to expire. And stay in your safe place until the threat has passed for your area. And that'll keep you safe. These types of events, very easy to stay safe in, but you do have to take the right steps in order to do so. We'll pinpoint again on Pinpoint Doppler radar as storms continue to move to the north at about 30 miles per hour, producing limited lightning, but certainly a brief burst of heavy rain looks pretty likely in any of these storms as they pass by. The good news is that any threat for additional severe weather activity this evening is fairly limited. Storm Prediction Center not even including eastern Iowa in a slight risk of severe weather today. It's such a marginal case today. But the good news is that as the sun continues to set, the very limited energy we have for these storms will continue to diminish, and hopefully we can put these to bed, so to speak, in terms of having any additional severe weather. Chief Meteorologist Joe Winters joins me now. Joe, it's just one of those days where it's just enough, just on the edge.
Has there been any reports at all right now of anything damage-wise or anything other than the rotation weak, it looks weak, rotation within that storm itself?
Rather weak. In fact, in the two storms that they've issued tornado warnings for, the one that's in eastern Louisa County and the one that's in western and as well as southeast Washington, no reports. There was one report earlier today in western Illinois of a storm that may have produced damage. Wasn't confirmed. Nobody saw the tornado, but somebody saw the damage afterwards. And it was very, very short-lived. So that's the type of thing that we could be facing today. But thus far, and this is passing by some populated areas, some major highways, I think if something was happening, we'd be able to see it. And so far, just not able to.
No, and that's the good news. If we have not heard any reports, that's what we'd like to see if these storms are issued. Certainly, we do have that tornado warning in effect now again until 7:15, so this is longer than the first one that was issued farther toward the south. This now issued until 7:15. It does include portions of Washington County, does not include the city of Washington. Want to make sure you know that. Ainsworth, though, Crawfordsville, you certainly are included in this warning. Right along Highway 218 as it moves to the north, and that intersection of 92 and 218, those are areas that are included in that warning, again, across areas of Washington County. Main threat would be from the rotation in the storm itself. And once again, as Corey had mentioned, limited lightning in the storm, and again, fairly weak in nature, other than the areas right down across southeast Iowa. To kind of give you a little wider view of this picture, you see plenty of activity farther down toward the south in areas of Missouri and Illinois. The rest of eastern Iowa right now, looking like, hey, not a lot is happening, and that's exactly right. There still are a few showers in northern areas of Benton, northern areas of Lynn, southern areas of Delaware County. But the concentrated storm that is out there is very isolated in nature, but it is with us. And again, it's the tornado warning that is in effect for the eastern, southeastern corner of Washington County. Again, Highway 218 included in that. Crawfordsville, you're included in that. Main rotation probably in the area, really looking just in the far southeastern areas of Washington. And then as we head toward areas of Louisa County as well. But again, main concern is that cell, and that's the only cell that we're concerned with right now as that storm continues to move off to the north. I think Corey mentioned about 30 miles per hour. All that activity will continue to lift off toward the north, so that would be moving into little northern areas of Washington County, maybe across Louisa, could hit areas of southern Johnson. Head into Muscatine County before it moves towards Cedar County, if it can hold that strength at all, and that rotation in the storm that they've been seeing.
And we just put up the city cam from Washington in that double box, lower right corner. Not seeing a lot of definition to this storm from a distance. Obviously, we don't have the best look at it, but we are looking just to the left of the heaviest rainfall that is falling with one of these storms that's passing through eastern Washington County. And yeah, there are definitely some areas of heavy rainfall there, as well as, again, a little bit of radar indicated rotation but I can't see any sort of rain-free cloud base or an area that is distinct in terms of it being able to produce a tornado. We may just not have the best shot from here. Washington's a fair distance from this, as mentioned. It's not included in the warning.
Right.
In fact, it looks like that warning may have been dropped.
I'll let you confirm that it is. The National Weather Service now cancels the tornado warning. It was in place for portions of Washington, Henry, and Louisa County. As expected, very, very weak in nature, as we said. Storm which produced the warning no longer has moved below severe limits, and as a result, that tornado warning has been canceled. One continues farther areas of southeast Iowa over toward Des Moines and Louisa County.
Yeah, so we'll be keeping an eye on whether any more of these storms produce additional rotation, but for now, I'm meteorologist Corey Thompson and meteorologist Joe Winters here at the TV9 Weather Lab.
Keep it here on your trusted local news and weather source, KCRG TV9.
Severe weather on KCRG TV 9, sponsored by AmeriClean.